let's dive right in today, shall we? We're going deep on advanced collocations.
Yeah, collocation.
Powerful little word pairings, right? That can really make your English sound super natural and fluent. And you've given us some fantastic examples. I'm really excited to kind of break down how these collocations how they actually work and how they can help us.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how collocations, they're not just about vocabulary,
Right.
They tap into all these subtle nuances of language.
Oh, absolutely.
And they allow you to kind of express yourself with a certain precision, a certain impact that individual words often just can't achieve on their own.
Exactly. It's like the difference between saying like I'm happy, versus I'm blissfully unaware.
Right.
Speaking of blissfully unaware, that was one that really caught my eye. It's so evocative.
Oh, for sure.
It's such a cool collocation.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you think about blissfully unaware, and you get this image of someone, they're completely at peace.
Right.
Totally oblivious to any sort of potential trouble that might be, brewing around them.
Right.
And a single word like unaware, I mean, it just doesn't have the same punch,
Yeah. No, it doesn't. You're right. It's like you can almost feel that sense of peaceful ignorance.
Yeah.
Which I guess could be, it could be endearing, but it also could be a little worrisome depending on, what the situation is.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
But that's what's so cool about these collocations. It's that extra layer, right?
Yeah.
Of meaning and emotion.
And they could be super effective in sort of conveying very, very specific types of situations. So for example, you take mounting pressure.
Oh, yeah.
That collocation.
Yeah.
It instantly creates this sense of urgency and intensity.
That one, I don't know, for me that always makes me think of a pressure cooker, about to explode. It's so much more vivid than just saying, increasing pressure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what's so brilliant about it. Mounting.
Yeah.
It implies this gradual buildup, like the sense of inevitability. It makes it feel the pressure feels almost tangible.
Okay. So we've got blissful ignorance and pressure cookers.
Yeah.
What else do we have? What else is on the menu?
Well, how about, this collocation is all about navigating kind of tricky situations. Tread carefully.
Ooh. That one feels very diplomatic. It's like something you'd hear whispered in like the halls of power or something.
Exactly. It suggests the need for caution and deliberation, especially when the stakes are high. You wouldn't simply walk carefully in a minefield, would you?
No.
No, you'd tread carefully.
Right.
Really emphasizing that potential danger.
Right.
And the need for precision.
It's a great analogy. I think it kind of highlights how collocations, they often draw on these physical metaphors, right?
Yeah.
To create a stronger image. So, it seems like these collocations, they're doing a lot more than just making us sound fancy.
For sure.
They're actually helping us to communicate more effectively.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. They allow you to convey very specific shades of meaning that individual words often they miss.
Right.
It's like having this whole set of specialized tools for your language.
Yeah.
Yeah. Each one designed for a particular purpose.
Okay. Before we get too carried away with our linguistic toolbox here,
Right.
let's touch on a few more examples from your list here.
Yeah.
We've got, let's see, grave concern.
Yeah.
We have profound impact, and we have putting things in perspective.
Yes.
And we've got cutting edge technology. These are all pretty heavy hitters.
Yeah, they are. They are indeed. Each of those sort of carries a certain weight, a certain intensity. Take grave concern, for example.
Right.
It goes beyond simply being worried.
Right.
It suggests a level of anxiety that's very deep rooted and potentially far-reaching.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's like concern with a capital C.
Yes.
Like when world leaders, express grave concern over something like a global crisis or, whatever, it's serious business.
Exactly.
Right.
And then you have something like profound impact, which really elevates just a simple effect
Right.
to something much more significant and much more lasting.
I am curious though, is there a grammatical reason, I guess, why these pairings work so well?
That's a great question.
Like, is there some kind of hidden linguistic rule book,
right?
That governs collocations, or is it more of just like a feeling or something?
Yeah, that is a great question. while there aren't any strict rules per se,
Right.
there definitely are patterns, and there are tendencies in how these collocations sort of form.
Right.
Often it's about combining words
Right.
that naturally sort of complement each other in terms of their meaning and their imagery.
So it's less about like memorizing a formula and more about developing an ear for what sounds natural.
Exactly.
What has impact.
Precisely. It's like learning to play an instrument. You start with the basics, but then eventually you develop that intuitive sense of what sounds harmonious.
And I bet reading widely helps with that, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, exposing yourself to different writing styles and seeing how skilled authors use these collocations.
For sure. For sure. The more you immerse yourself in language, the more you start to really internalize these patterns.
Right.
And use them effortlessly in your own communication.
Now, I don't want to spoil all the fun just yet.
Okay.
But before we delve into the next batch of collocations, is there anything in particular that's standing out to you so far? From the list, I mean. Anything you find particularly intriguing or maybe even a little puzzling?
Well, there are a few, I'd say, that I think could spark some interesting discussion.
Okay.
But I'm also curious to hear what's catching your attention.
Okay.
What's kind of resonating with you? That we can dive deeper into those nuances
Right.
and really kind of explore how these collocations can be used effectively in different contexts.
Yeah.
Right after a quick break.
Okay, we're back and ready to dig into some more of these fascinating collocations. I'm telling you, I'm already feeling like my vocabulary is getting a serious upgrade.
That's the spirit. And remember, it's not just about expanding your vocabulary. It's about really understanding those subtle ways that these word pairings can actually enhance your communication.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like adding a secret ingredient to your writing and your speaking.
Yeah.
That gives it that extra flavor and that depth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of flavor, let's talk about bitter disappointment.
Ooh, yeah.
That's a collocation that really captures, I think, that emotional weight of things not going our way.
Ugh, yeah, we've all been there, right?
Wow.
That feeling when your hopes are just dashed.
Yeah.
And you're just left with this lingering sense of, wow, bitterness.
Exactly. It's not just disappointment. It's a deeper. It's more of a visceral reaction almost.
Yeah.
The word bitter adds that extra layer of emotional intensity.
Yeah.
It's almost like a bad taste in your mouth. You can't quite get rid of.
It's interesting because bitter is usually associated with taste, right?
Yeah.
But here we are using it to describe an emotion. I mean, that's the power of collocations, right?
Well,
They can take a word that we normally associate with one thing,
Yeah.
and then apply it to something completely different,
Right.
creating this whole other layer of meaning.
And sometimes those metaphorical connections, they can be surprisingly insightful.
Right.
They help us to understand these very abstract concepts in a more concrete and relatable way.
Okay, let's shift gears for a sec
Yeah.
and look at open to interpretation.
Yes.
Now, this one feels particularly relevant, I think, in today's world,
Yeah.
where everybody seems to have a different take on just about everything.
Right.
What do you think about that one?
Yeah. I think that collocation, it really acknowledges just this inherent ambiguity in a lot of situations.
Mhm.
It suggests that there isn't always just one right answer, and that multiple perspectives can coexist.
I see this all the time, like in art and literature, where the meaning of a work can vary so wildly,
Right.
depending on who's experiencing it. It's like a reminder that our interpretations are shaped by our own unique experiences and perspectives.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Right. Yeah.
Embracing those multiple interpretations, it can lead to, I think, richer
Yeah.
and more nuanced discussions.
Yeah. It's like that saying, there's two sides to every story.
Right.
Or maybe even more than two.
Exactly. And open to interpretation,
Yeah.
it sort of encourages us to be more, I think, more open-minded
Mhm.
and to consider viewpoints that might differ from our own.
So we've got emotional intensity, with bitter disappointment.
Right.
And then we've got open-mindedness with open to interpretation. I'm sensing a bit of a theme here.
Yeah.
It seems like these collocations, they're not just about making us sound smarter. They're about helping us to think more deeply.
Yeah, I like the way you put that.
Right.
They really do challenge us to go beyond just that surface level of language and to really consider all the nuances of meaning and context.
Okay, let's keep the momentum going here. Let's look at sheer determination.
Yes.
This one sounds like it belongs on a motivational poster.
It does have that certain inspirational quality to it, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. Sheer determination. I mean, it evokes this sense of unwavering focus and resilience.
Right.
It's that inner drive that really pushes people to overcome obstacles and to achieve their goal.
It's like a superpower.
Yes.
You can practically feel that energy and that willpower just radiating from someone who possesses sheer determination.
And notice how the word sheer, it really intensifies the meaning of determination.
Yeah.
It's not just determination. It's pure, unadulterated determination.
As if saying nothing is going to stop me.
Yes. Right.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired.
Yeah.
What other gems do we have on this list?
Well, how about cutting edge technology?
Oh yeah.
That's a classic collocation. I mean, it never seems to go out of style, does it?
No, I think it's because we're, constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible with technology.
Right.
So cutting edge always feels relevant.
Exactly. It signifies the latest and greatest advancements, the innovations that are shaping the future.
I'm noticing that a lot of these collocations they're 2-word combinations. We've got bitter disappointment, sheer determination, cutting edge technology. Is there a reason for that? Are most advanced collocations just 2 words?
That is a great observation.
Yeah.
While collocations can come in, various forms, 2-word combinations are definitely quite common.
Especially in adjective plus noun pairings like the ones that you just mentioned.
Sure.
They strike a nice balance between being concise and impactful.
So it's not just about cramming as many words together as possible. It's about finding that most elegant and effective way to express a complex idea.
Precisely. It's like composing a piece of music.
Yeah.
You want every note to contribute to that overall harmony and impact.
Now, I know we've got a lot more collocations to explore, but I want to take a minute here to just really emphasize something important. I think it's not just about memorizing these collocations like flashcards or something.
I couldn't agree more.
Right.
I know it's about understanding all those subtle nuances.
Right.
Understanding their appropriate context.
Right.
And how to weave them naturally into your everyday language.
Exactly. It's about making these powerful word pairings a part of, your linguistic toolkit. So they flow effortlessly from your mind to your mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. With that in mind.
Okay.
Let's turn our attention to a few more examples that I think really highlight the importance of caution.
Okay.
And responsibility.
Right.
How about exercise caution?
Ooh, yeah.
This one seems particularly relevant in today's, I think, fast-paced world.
Right.
Where things are constantly changing.
Absolutely. It's a reminder to proceed with care
and
with awareness.
Yeah.
Right? Especially when you're, facing unfamiliar situations or potential risks.
Yeah. Think about navigating a busy intersection.
Yeah. Right.
Investing in a new venture.
Mm-hmm.
Or even expressing your opinion on a sensitive topic. In each of those scenarios, exercising caution suggests a thoughtful and measured approach.
Right. It's about weighing the potential consequences.
Yeah.
Before taking action, which I think is a valuable skill in any context. And it's not just about avoiding those negative outcomes, but it's also about making sure we're making the most informed and responsible choices.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's a collocation that can be used in such a variety of settings,
Right.
From formal announcements to to very casual conversations.
Okay, let's move on to a collocation that speaks to the importance of relationships. How about make amends?
Yes.
This one feels, it feels very human, very relatable.
Yeah, absolutely. Making amends. It involves taking concrete steps to repair a damaged relationship or to right a wrong.
Right.
And it goes beyond just a simple apology.
Right.
It requires genuine effort.
Right.
And a willingness to change.
It's about acknowledging, I think, the impact of our actions and taking responsibility for them, which can be incredibly powerful, right?
Yeah.
For both parties involved. And it's not always easy, is it? Making amends requires humility.
Right.
Right, and a willingness to put the relationship above our own ego.
Yeah. That's a very insightful point.
Yeah.
It really is about prioritizing reconciliation and understanding, you know, over pride and defensiveness.
Okay, I'm ready for a collocation that's a little more upbeat.
Okay.
How about gain momentum?
Yes. I agree.
This one sounds so dynamic and so hopeful.
It paints this vivid picture of something gathering speed and force,
right.
Becoming unstoppable.
Yeah.
Think of a social movement
Right.
that's gaining traction,
Right.
or a scientific breakthrough that leads to all these rapid advancements, or even a personal project that's finally taking off.
It's like that feeling of excitement and anticipation.
Right.
As things start to fall into place
Yeah.
and progress becomes tangible.
Exactly. And it's a collocation that can be used in such a wide range of contexts,
Right.
from business and politics to personal growth to creative endeavors.
It's a reminder that even small steps forward can eventually lead to big changes. All right, let's round out this set with duly noted.
Okay.
Now this one might seem a little formal at first glance.
Yeah.
But I think it can actually be quite versatile, can't it?
Yeah, you're right. Duly noted. It acknowledges that something has been heard and understood. Often in a professional or official setting.
Yeah. Right.
It conveys a sense of respect and attentiveness.
Right.
Even if you don't necessarily agree with what's been said.
I can see it being used in meetings.
Oh yeah.
In emails or even formal conversations. Just to kind of indicate that you've taken someone's point into consideration.
Right. Yeah.
Without necessarily committing to anything.
Exactly. It's a subtle but very effective way to maintain, decorum and professionalism.
Right.
In your interactions.
So as we continue to kind of explore all these advanced collocations, I'm struck by, how much they enhance not only the clarity of our language, but also the sophistication.
So it's like adding a layer of polish to our communication, right?
Right.
Making it more nuanced, more engaging, and ultimately more memorable.
And the best part is the more we expose ourselves to these collocations, the more naturally they'll start to flow into our own speaking and writing.
Absolutely. It's all about immersing ourselves in that richness of language.
Yeah.
And allowing these powerful pairings to become, second nature.
Okay. I'm eager to keep this linguistic adventure going.
I too.
We've got a whole bunch more collocations to unpack, and I can't wait to see what other gems we uncover next. What do you say we take a quick moment to recharge?
Yeah.
And then dive into the final round of our collocation exploration.
Sounds like a plan. We'll be back in a flash.
Yeah.
To continue our deep dive into this fascinating world of advanced collocations.
And we're back, ready for the final round of our collocation exploration.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'm starting to see collocations everywhere now.
Oh yeah.
It's like I've cracked a secret code.
It is a bit like that, isn't it? Once you start paying attention to these patterns, they really do pop up everywhere.
Okay, let's jump right in with fully aware. This one, on the surface it seems pretty straightforward, but I have a feeling there's more to it.
Yeah, you're right. Fully aware. It goes beyond just simple awareness.
Yeah. Okay.
It implies a much deeper level of understanding and acknowledgement. It suggests you're not only just seeing the situation clearly,
right,
but you're also accepting accepting all of its complexities
Right.
and its implications.
So it's like saying, I get it. I see the whole picture, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Exactly. And that can be, I think, a really powerful position to be in.
Right.
Whether you're facing a personal challenge or trying to make sense of a complex issue.
Okay, let's talk about a collocation that's a little less, well, aware. How about beyond repair?
Oh yeah. Beyond repair. That one definitely has a certain finality to it, doesn't it?
Yeah. It suggests that something is so damaged
Yeah.
or broken that it can't be salvaged.
Yeah.
But I mean, as we've seen with these other collocations, sometimes even phrases that have these, negative connotations,
Yeah.
they can have surprising layers of meaning.
Oh, absolutely. And sometimes recognizing that something is beyond repair, I mean, that can be a relief.
Right.
It allows you to let go of the struggle
Right.
and move on.
It's about accepting the reality of the situation and focusing your energy on what you can control.
Yeah.
Rather than clinging to something that's no longer serving you.
Exactly.
It's like that saying, don't cry over spilled milk.
Right.
Right? Sometimes you just got to move on. Okay, enough with the sad stuff.
Okay.
Let's move on to a collocation that's all about focus and engagement. How about pay close attention?
Yeah. Pay close attention. That's a good one. That's a good one. I think it's a good reminder that in a world that's just overflowing with distractions.
Right. Yeah.
Our attention is a precious resource. And so paying close attention. I mean, it's about being present. It's about being mindful.
Yeah.
And truly absorbing the information or the experience that's right in front of you.
It's like the difference between just passively watching a movie
Yeah.
versus really getting engrossed in the story and the characters and the emotions and all of that.
Exactly. And that deeper level of engagement.
Yeah.
It can lead to greater understanding,
Right.
greater enjoyment, and even personal growth.
Okay, time to face the music, or rather, face the consequences. This one, I don't know. This one sounds a little daunting to me, but I think it's an important one to kind of discuss. What do you think?
I agree. I mean, facing the consequences, it's about taking responsibility for our actions, even when the outcomes are not what we hoped for.
It's about acknowledging that every choice we make has an impact, and that we need to be accountable for those impacts.
And sometimes those consequences, I mean, they can be tough.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But they can also be incredibly valuable. I mean, as learning experiences, they can help us to grow, to evolve.
Yeah.
And to make better choices in the future.
All right, let's lighten the mood a little bit here with gain traction. This one always makes me think of like a car finally getting a grip on a slippery road.
Yeah.
And starting to move forward.
That's a great analogy.
Right.
Gaining traction, it suggests that sense of progress
Right.
and momentum. The feeling that something is finally starting to take off.
And it can apply to so many things, ideas, movements, projects, even relationships. It's that feeling of excitement when you realize that things are moving in the right direction.
Yeah, it's about overcoming inertia.
Right.
And starting to make some real headway.
Okay, we're in the home stretch now. Let's look at just a couple more collocations here before we wrap things up.
Right.
We've got undergo scrutiny, shed light on, come to fruition, build rapport. so many great examples here.
Each one adding another tool to our language toolbox. Right?
Great.
Yeah. Undergo scrutiny. That implies a careful and thorough examination.
Right.
Often in a critical or investigative context, think of a scientific theory being tested, or a political candidate's record being examined, or even a new product being reviewed.
And then there's shed light on, which feels a lot more positive, and illuminating.
Yeah, you're right. Shed light on it suggests bringing clarity to a situation. It's like shining a light into a dark corner.
Right.
It often involves revealing new information or new perspectives that can help us to understand something more fully.
It's like that aha moment.
Yes.
Right, when something finally makes sense.
Exactly.
Right.
And then we have come to fruition, which I think just beautifully captures the culmination of of a process, the moment when all that effort and planning finally pays off.
It's like watching a seed sprout and grow into a plant and eventually, bloom into this beautiful flower.
A perfect analogy. And finally, we have build rapport.
Yeah.
Which is all about, creating that strong connection with someone, establishing that foundation of trust.
Right.
And understanding.
This one feels essential, I think, for any kind of meaningful relationship.
Yeah.
Right. Whether it's personal or professional.
Absolutely. Building rapport, it involves active listening, it involves empathy and genuine interest,
Right.
in the other person.
Right.
It's about creating a space where communication can flow freely and authentically.
Wow, we covered so much ground today. It's amazing. It's amazing how much depth and nuance these collocations add to our language. I'm a little overwhelmed, but in a good way.
It has been a true deep dive.
Right.
And remember, this is just the beginning of your collocation exploration.
Mm-hmm.
The more you pay attention to these word pairings, the more you'll discover. And the more sophisticated and impactful your communication will become.
I think what's really resonated with me is that learning collocations, it isn't just about, memorizing a bunch of fancy phrases. It's about developing a deeper understanding of how language works.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head.
Right.
It's about moving beyond that surface level.
Yeah.
And really appreciating all those subtle ways that words interact to create meaning.
So as we wrap up our exploration of advanced collocations, I encourage you, keep playing with these word pairings, keep experimenting with them in your own writing and in your own speaking. You might be surprised at the creative possibilities that open up when you start thinking in collocations.
And remember, the journey of language learning is never truly over.
Right.
There's always something new to discover. There's a new nuance to explore, a new way to express yourself more effectively.
That's all for this deep dive, folks. We hope you enjoyed this exploration of advanced collocations. Until next time, happy collocating.
Yeah.
Happy